C10 Talk, episode 110, baby. C10's in the park. C10ville, Waxahachie, Texas. The C10 mayor, Terry Hill, was in the house. Over 900 C10's in one place in one day. That's how they do it.
This never left my two-car garage. We didn't have a lift, nothing. We did it in our shop, and that makes me proud to be able to say that.
Damn, son. When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, BrothersTrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC restoration parts. Head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today. Whether you're looking to replace your original steering, update those old brakes, or improve your suspension and handling, Classic Performance Products has got your classic truck covered. You can save 10% by using code C10 Talk at checkout. 10%. ClassicPerform.com. If you're like me and you want the best possible products for your build, Mar-K Quality Parts has you covered. From side moldings to bedwood and so much more. Mar-K.com, and follow them on Instagram too. Dakota Digital, for the best in universal and direct fit gauges. They are the leader in aftermarket instrument systems, so check them out at dakotadigital.com.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast. Here's your host, Ronnie Wetch.
All right. What up, C10 Nation? I feel like I've been away for a little while. C10's in the park. We made the journey out and back. It was quick, but it was fun, and it was pretty uneventful. So anytime you have a pretty uneventful trip, obviously that's a good thing. Now, I didn't drive Yellowstone because I didn't get the damn thing done in time, and life just does what it does, but that's all right, because I got to take the sun-kissed / orange slice out to Waxahachie, which was cool to kind of let everybody check it out. But again, it was a really uneventful from the perspective of the trip. We had a handful of guys go out, and kind of like those road trips end up, everybody kind of comes back individually or in a smaller group, then we all go out, which is still cool. Something happens, hopefully you got, maybe one guy or two guys with you, and you can help each other out. A lot going on. So today is our 4-year anniversary, which is just absolutely crazy. I should probably be able to look up how many listens, downloads. I had just pulled it up. Let me see if it's still live on my thing here as I'm kind of doing that. I just want to thank everybody. It's crazy to think 4 years ago, we were doing this and starting it off, and we've had so many killer guests. It looks like all-time downloads is 682,362. So the way Lipson does their stats is a little different. It used to be a little bit more liberal, if you will, and they've tightened it up, so it kind of depends. But bottom line is 682,000 is a shit ton of downloads. And I don't know that I ever thought it would get to the point where it is. I'm glad it is. It's awesome to share the backstory of these builds and some of the journey and the companies and everybody that kind of make up the C10 community, the C10 Nation. What's crazy is how podcasts were just kind of getting going, and now to where they are now. So stoked to be where I'm at from the perspective of delivering you guys the information and the backstory. So 4 years today. Thanks again for all the love, support, and everything that you guys do for us. We have a ton of stuff. So if you get a chance, I don't want to inundate social media and you guys are just like C10 Talk this, C10 Nation this, but we got some really cool stuff. So we made 2 long sleeve shirts that are new. One's the C10 Talk shifter. We've got the new kind of wood trim Nation. And then we've got 3 new individuals. So a 64 to 66 shirt, a square shirt, and then a second gen, which is really a 71, 72 on there. It's actually kind of like limbo on there. But so check those out. Those are online now. And then we got kind of a retro C10 Talk one as well. We got new leather keychains that we had. So when I went up to Canada, I met Andrew, and Andrew had made us a keychain. a handful of us, he gave them out. And I'm like, dude, let's do each era. We did it. We had them for C10's in the park. And hell, I sold out of one style. He's going to make me some more, but we pretty much have every era covered. And the second gens we have definitely, because we have the 67-72 or the 67 to 68, 69 and 70, and then 71, 72. So those are in there, very specific. The squares, it's pretty much the square, and then the slope nose. It kind of looks like a 75. It's just because the grill, it's really tough to do the grill too tight. But there's obviously a 64 to 66 in there, and we're trying to get you guys all covered. So we've got leather keychains, we've got the new coffee mugs. Those will all be out at Dino's, and then all the leftover shirts that we've had over the time being too. Everything will be out at Dino's. So if you're able to make it out to Dino's Get Down, which is the last leg of the Triple Crown, kind of cool to see that evolve as well with C10's in the park. So, we all started off at Brothers, and then some drove from Cali and obviously Arizona, and then some of the Texas guys out to C10's in the park. And now the last leg will be at Dino's Get Down on November 16th. So that's going to be fun coming up. So make sure you mark down your calendars. If you can't drive, I highly consider maybe flying out, because it is the C10 party of the year. Obviously post SEMA, there'll be some SEMA builds there, and it's always a good time, and it's at a new location. So it's at Big Surf. He's saying, hey, I can hold up to 400 or 500, whereas before 300 might have been pushing it. So nobody should be turned around. It should be a great time as always. Always looking forward to that. November 16th, mark your calendars. We've got some savings to talk about. I really want to pass this on to you guys. So again, Adam's Polishes, we just had Adam on. Adam said, hey, let's do 15% and free shipping. Now, they have their Labor Day kind of special going on, which is 15%, but right now, 15% for C10 Talk plus free shipping. So that was something they wanted to kind of throw out to you, the C10 Nation. I make not one dime. I don't want a dime. I just want to pass it on to you. I just want people to know this isn't something where it's an affiliate style program where every time you use C10 Talk or anything like that, I get paid. No, that's not what it is. It's just to make sure you guys know, hey, up until October 1st, you want to save some money. I want you to save money. And obviously, I want you to support these guys. And Adam's Polishes is where it's at. So C10 Talk for Adam's Polishes, 15% plus free shipping. For Marquet, I talked to JD. Any bedwood kit, bedwood hardware, bedwood strips, 10%. Use code C10 Talk up until October 1st. And then, as always, for CPP, Classic Performance, just use C10 Talk, and you get 10% no matter what. There's no ending on that, but the other ones are obviously October 1st. And then, kind of bad news, but it's kind of powerful in that I think from the perspective of us turning a bad situation into a positive or working through and coming together as a community, a GoFundMe account has been set up for Ben Zaccardi. That is Brian Zaccardi, aka Bird, and his brother Scott was on C10 Talk for C10 Next Gen, the episode we did with Scott. But unfortunately, last week, Ben and Scott were out on their motorcycles, and Ben lost control. I've been to the hospital. I've talked to Bird. I've seen Ben, and it's tough. And as a paramedic for over 20 years, as a firefighter, they're doing amazing for their family. They're strong. Ben is an absolute stud, an absolute fighter. If you think about, bottom line is he had a helmet on, lost control, and hit a wall, but the brunt of the force was to the frontal, to the face. No protection there. He gets hit. He does go into cardiac arrest, or he hits the wall, goes into cardiac arrest. The neighbor ends up like sucking blood out of his mouth, giving him CPR, reviving him up until then the fire department gets there. They take him to Cardin's Children's, which is pretty close. That's the nice thing about living kind of in a metropolitan area. It's probably less than 5 miles from where it happened. FD takes him over there, right to Cardin's Children's, and then you've got like a 72-hour window to where they kind of can say, listen, this guy's gonna make it or he's not. He made it, and he is improving daily. Now, the number one thing is he has tons of facial fractures. They repaired those on, I'm trying to think what day that was, 3-4 days ago. So I'm going to say like Wednesday. They did the surgery. And even that's a positive because that 72-hour window, they really weren't going to work on his fractures. They just wanted to see, do we have a viable patient here? He made it through. They did the surgeries. He struggled a little bit. ICP went up, which is intracranial pressure. But it's since come down. When I've talked to Brian, when I've talked to Bird, it's come down. When I went and saw him at the hospital, it was a little elevated. But Bird kind of said, hey, he's come back down a little bit. So the bottom line is there's a GoFundMe account. This is a 12-year-old son of one of our own. And I just want everybody to know about it. I would encourage you to give. If you have $5, please give. If you have more, so be it. But this family is going to need it because there's going to be astronomical medical bills. And I hope we can kind of rally the troops. We're going to put a link on my website, so c10nation.com, and there will be a GoFundMe link for Ben Zaccardi. And if you're listening to this, please share it. Please do what you can. I know everybody can't give that much, but I'll be honest with you. If you can give $5, it's appreciated. So I've talked to Bird, and he's very appreciative of the support the C10 community has given him, and rightfully so. We need to rally around our own, and we need to support him because that's what it's all about. The trucks are cool, but the people are cooler, and this is one of our own, and we need to do this. We need to rally it. It's a call to action. So please go to C10 Nation. Please find the link. I don't know where it's at right now because I just asked my wife if we could put it on there. But we're going to put a link on there for the GoFundMe for Ben Zaccardi. So please look into that and help out if you can. That's it. Going to get to it. I'm actually dealing with another issue. Lost one of our own in the fire department. Guy that I was pretty close with. And it's been sad. It's been a crazy couple weeks, or really since we got back from Texas, it's been nonstop. But life is still amazing. And we just kind of weather the storm. The guy that I'm dealing with, a friend of mine, really somebody, a mentor of mine, and was at his house today with the family, and just we're kind of working through some things. But, you just can't take anything for granted. And that's the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, that's me. I'm going a mile a minute all the time and need to find time to slow things down and enjoy my wife, my kids, and, the whole stop and smell the roses, because life goes quick. Somebody told me that one time, the older you get, the faster it goes. And that's the truth. So you guys have a safe week. Just be safe. Just give your kids a hug and reach out to your buddy. You got a mentor out there in the world that you looked up to and you care about, you love. Give them a call. Give them a text. Give them a call. Call so much more, personal, and tell them, hey, how you been? All right, man. Just want to give you a what's up, and I love you, man. Let them know. Let them know you care. Let them know that you're thinking about them. And if you got kids, give them a hug. Be safe, because you just never know. And I'm experiencing firsthand right now, so it's kind of crazy. But enough of the rambling. Again, 4 years. Thank you so much for all your support, continued support. I've got a couple killer interviews lined up. Hopefully I can get those done this week, at least one of them, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. Have a great week. Thanks for all the support. C10's in the trailer park. Late. Boom, boom. We're starting it off. C10's in the trailer park with Walt D. That could be like Walt Disney, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Walt Disney. Walt D. If you're hot, you're hot. And I tell you what, one of the things you guys have heard me talk about is how we get to choose and we get to pick. If you're into old trucks, you get to pick the best drivetrain, powertrain. And Walt D has put together one rad-ass truck. So welcome to C10 Talk, and tell us a little bit about your 88 here.
Thank you. It's a 1988 Chevy Silverado camper special that's been converted into a ramp truck. It's got a 97 P-pump 12-valve in it with a BorgWarner S360, 5x14 injectors, and built 47 RE with a full manual valve body and 4-inch exhaust. The cab's been repainted. I haven't got to the bed yet, but I just had it coated, and there's still work in progress. It's on 22.5 10 lugs that have been milled down to 22 to fit a street tire on it, and just a nice nice original truck. Bought it with 94,000 miles from the original owner, and they had converted it in the 90s into a ramp truck and used it for work for a long time. And then the business went out, and they parked the truck, and it sat for probably, I think they said about 8 or 9 years, and then I picked it up and started working on it. So
why did you choose a Cummins versus what was it? Was it? I'm assuming just a big block.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if they were Tonawandas in '88 or not yet. I don't know if they went to that until a few years younger. Or newer. Bottom line is you went with the Cummins, and this is the second Cummins that's been in this truck, right?
Yes, sir. It was a big block and with the 4-speed, and I drive a lot, so I use the truck often. Probably put 12 to 15,000 miles a year on it, and the big block did great. It didn't have the pulling power to tow really heavy, and the 6 miles a gallon didn't help. Now I can have a car on the back, pull a trailer with another car on the back, load it down weighing over 20,000 pounds, and still get 16 miles a gallon, going 80 miles an hour.
You hear that? I mean, I tell you what, Yellowstone right there has a serious drinking problem because I'm getting like 7 miles a gallon. He's talking about 16 and 20, and my buddy Brokeback Jason Bowman, Big Ten Garage, same thing. Getting 18 miles a gallon out of these first, or 12 valve Cummins. So I know you kind of rattled off a lot of stuff there. A couple of things that caught my attention are obviously the tranny. So tell us a little. That thing's got to be built.
Yeah, it's a triple disc converter billet it's got a billet input shaft, all upgraded clutches, internal parts. I got it from a guy. He had a full receipt for the trans. Actually paid $3,500 for the whole swap, and basically the trans was the entire swap. What I paid, it was $3,300 in parts in the trans and labor, of course.
So he already had it with the Cummins.
Yes. He had already had it done. He had it in a truck that got wrecked, and he had some financials come up, and he was just like, man, just give me $3,500 and I'll let you have it. And I was like, I'll be right there. So it was going to cost about $3,200 to rebuild the first-gen engine I had in it. Yeah. So I was like, that's a better deal. I get a built trans. So, and it helps a lot. The truck should make a ride of about 400 horse and probably about 850, 900 foot-pounds of torque. So it definitely gets itself moving now.
Did you say what gears are in it?
No, it's a 373s with the HD rear end. I forget, like Dana 70 or 80 or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm sorry on that. But it's just 373s. It does probably, with those gears and the tires, with the automatic, it does probably about 2,000 RPMs, 2,200 down the road at 75, 80 miles an hour. So it goes pretty good. So far I've had the truck to about 107 with the GPS. So it moves out pretty good.
Well, and this is all music to my ears because for me personally, Yellowstone is my point of reference, and when I come out here, I'm running 31 to 3,200 RPMs. Yeah. My 400, which I just pulled, is absolutely just cranking, and to hear that you're kicking down to 2,000, and I drove my Duramax out this weekend, and that's what I'm watching. I'm like, dude, I'm at 1,800, and I'm freaking going 70 miles an hour pulling a trailer. And so with your 373s, that's a nice tow gear for you. Obviously, you could go lower, but did you buy this because you wanted the ramp truck or because it was unique, or do you use it because it is a ramp truck?
I've never, this is my first truck I've ever bought myself. I have never owned a truck, and I wanted something that I didn't have to worry about a trailer getting stolen. So I was like, well, this is a lot harder to get out and move with somebody trying to steal something, so I'll stick with the big truck. But I liked it because I actually saw the show Roadkill, and I was like, yeah, I always wanted one, but I never really sought after until I saw the show, and then I was like, man, I really need to get me one of those. So I got it, and then just slowly been just changing it up every year. I had, like I said, I had the big block in it for a while, and then I was like, I got to go diesel with the mileage it got. It killed me on mileage. I probably actually saved $3,500 a year going diesel.
And fuel alone, because it cost me $800 to go to LST and back in Yellowstone. And you think about it, you're going to drop, let's say you're going to drop $400. If I did that same thing over the course of a couple of years, you're going to have it paid for. Now you're doing a lot of the work yourself, though.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've done 99% of the work. I've had help with friends, and my girlfriend actually helped me out a lot on it. And it's just something to mess around with. I didn't really want a shop to build it or anything like that. I was like, I can do it myself, and then I can just say I did it myself, built it and did everything myself. It's still a work in progress. I still got to clean up some stuff and tinker on a few more things, and But other than that, though, I'm really, really happy with the truck. So AC works, everything works in it.
Well, you should be. And one other thing that's unique about this truck is it is an 88. So you guys might think, well, 88 is OBS. It is, but not in the big boy trucks. So the big boy trucks, your crew cab, your work trucks, your Bourbons, your Blazers, they kept them all the way up till 91. And then in 92 is when you're going to see your OBS style, crew. So this is a square body truck, slope nose, and it is a crew cab. I don't think he even kind of talked about that at the beginning. So it is a crew cab. He's got just some hellacious milled 22.5s milled down. I noticed that too. He's just it's really tastefully done. And the cool thing is we talked a little bit about Roadkill. We talked about Mike Finnegan. He just did the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was like, maybe we need to race the trucks and see who's got a faster ramp truck.
Well, that might be a challenge, Mike. I might have to reach out to him, make sure he understands that. And I'm sure if you took this to one of their drag events, he'd be happy to at least talk to you about it and sit down. The cab lights are cool. I will tell you guys the theme out here today, I've seen a lot of four wheels in the back. And I think that's a theme. I think we're seeing a lot of dualies out here, a lot of big boy trucks. Walt D, you've done a fabulous job with this truck. It just looks and screams like a big boy truck, and I don't know what's left to do. What are you thinking?
Finish up the bed on the paint work. I had to do some metal work, and there's still a lot of metal work left. I may actually let somebody do that one. I'm not a very good fabricator myself, so I may do that and then get the bed painted and just do a bag setup on the rear with some actual semi bags to kind of help with the load and stuff, because I do tow a lot of weight sometimes.
So what are you doing that you're towing all the time?
Mainly just like race car stuff, like going to the track, going out of town. We go to Houston a lot, so we do a 9-hour drive in the truck. So towing with the heavy weight and the bags will help out a lot. So and that's why I went with a diesel too. We go to Houston, we go to all these track events and stuff, so the fuel mileage helps out a lot. So.
Were you able to, with this kind of truck and this kind of power, did you go through the brakes and were you able to find some upgradable brakes with this truck?
I haven't yet. It's still original R30 brakes, still drums out back. I just did a good pad setup and new rotors, and the rear I just made sure they were adjusted with some new drum.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does pretty good. I don't try to come to a real. If I'm in town, I go real slow and take it easy. But out on the highway, I'll let it kind of eat and keep going. So
yeah, and make sure you have good trailer brakes always helps. And I'll tell you right now, one thing GM's got going on well too. GM's winning in braking and AC, so that's good because they've always had good brakes. Walt D, do you have a name for this thing?
No, actually, we kind of just jokingly called it the icebreaker because we drove it one winter and it looked like a big icebreaker ship plowing through all the snow banks and stuff. So
yeah, that works. The big red icebreaker. All right, Walt D, where can we find you on Instagram?
Walt D, just lowercase Walt D on Instagram. That's yeah.
No dashes, slashes, or mashes. Nothing. You happen to get Walt D.
Yeah, I guess I got in early enough to get it. So.
All right, dude. Well, we like your truck. We appreciate you taking the time, and I'm telling you guys, it's literally the best of a lot of worlds. Looking at it, you got the beauty of a GM truck. You got the Cummins powertrain, and it's all wrapped up, looking sweet. So, Walt D, thanks, man.
Hey, thank you.
Well, you guys know I like a story, and we walked up. And the paint on this thing is beautiful, by the way. So we come to find out Lucinda's got this truck, and this was Dad's truck. Now, I think part of the cool story that we kind of got was that what he traded in to get this truck, and how old you were when all that happened. So tell us a little bit about how your dad came about buying this truck. Well, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I was born in '77, and he needed a reliable vehicle, and so he went out and got a '78 pickup and decided to put a 350 motor in it from a Camaro, and
Well, how about this? Well, I heard that he had to trade something in to get this. So back in the day, he had to trade a Camaro to get this. So a '69 Camaro is what I heard.
Yeah.
She's not nervous. I swear to God, she's not nervous. Here, I'll tell her story. Okay, so Dad trains a '69 Camaro because he's got his baby girl, and then he goes to the dealership and he buys this sweet '78. So this truck. You tell us what this truck means to you as a kid, riding around with Dad and Dad's truck, and now it's yours.
All right, yeah, it's mine. I grew up standing up next to him before we had to wear seatbelts. Stood up in that truck as long as I could till my head hit the ceiling. And now that he's gone, it just means the world to me. It's one thing that I've got left of him, and I just love driving it. I feel him with me when I'm driving it, wind blowing in my hair. It's a good feeling.
Well, and it's cool too, right? So now you have a 40-year-old truck, and it's you. It's what, to me, the C10 Nation, this radio podcast thing is, there's always a story behind a truck. And some people's story is, I went on, bought it last week, and I love it, okay, because I grew up in them. Yours is, this truck is who, part of my body, part of my soul. And now my dad, who bought it, who traded in a 69 Camaro, just so you know, that's crazy. People don't do that. The guys at the dealership were like, dude, some freaking guy just brought a 69 Camaro, traded in for a 78 truck. So now your dad passes unexpectedly. What did you think? Did your family say we're going to sell the truck, or how did that go down?
Oh, no, that wasn't even a question. It's mine. It's mine, and I fixed it up, and now we drive it, and you'll have to pry it from my dead hands.
You can cuss and everything on here. It's fine. So what did you all have to do? Because the paint obviously looks really good. What all did you do to the truck to get it back to this level?
Well, our guys at Gonzalez Customs took it down to bare metal and laid some fancy paint on it. Looks pretty good. And then I got a custom seat in there with some cup holders, because I got to have my drink with me all the time.
I saw a Cowboys cup.
Yeah.
You got that out of the recycle bin.
No. The one thing I did keep, my husband keeps telling me, you need some new door panels. These are wore out, and they just, you can't do much with them. I said, no, I got to keep the door panels. There's a spot on the driver's side where my daddy's arm rests, and it's, it's just worn out, and I got to keep it like that. That's him. Yeah. And so
that's Dad's armrest right there, and it's built in now, so it's part of it. Is it one of those things where this is a daily, this is your fun family cruiser, you go out and you want to feel a little nostalgic? What kind of relationship do you now have with the truck when you're thinking about driving it?
Right now we just take it out to shows or on the weekend, and the kids get a kick out of riding in it, and we just like to have fun in it.
Do you let them stand up and not wear seatbelts?
No, they've got their booster seat in there. We gotta follow the rules.
It's all right. I'm a fireman. You can let them ride around a little bit on the back roads. Hey, look, if you hit your head on that windshield, you'll be just fine. The rear view mirror might fall off or something or break, but everything else. Well, it's a really pretty truck. I love the colors. For the audience, 78 is, I'm going to say tan with a cream center. You'll see it, it's a 78 style. Definitely, you guys laid it on. It's almost kind of got like a caramel, I don't know. You know what? For all you guys out there, it's just a latte, okay? It's buckskin and neutral. And she's got it sitting just right. So we're glad that you guys kept it, Lucinda. We're glad that you kept those door panels. If you can just get rid of that Cowboys cup, this thing's a winner.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the cup and the truck.
So what do your kids think about it?
Oh, they love it. We need to go ride in Poppy's truck. They just, yeah.
And then you guys said you put a new motor in it at some point too?
My dad did that. We didn't put a new motor in it. At some point, he took the original motor out and put a 350 from a Camaro, ironically, in there. And it's got a few other things to make it sound pretty good.
So what do you think? You're part of this. Obviously, you're a truck guy. You kind of come into the family. I mean, this truck has always been around since you've known her, right? So what do you think about this crazy story?
Oh, I love it. When I came in, I had a 78 Bourbon, but I had to sell it when we had our first kid. Now I got an 81 step side, which I'm getting my LS put in it now, and it's on air ride. So, yeah, I'm all about it. I love it. I love square bodies, period. So,
yeah, trucks are in their blood over here. It's a cool thing, and we're at this park. That's one thing that's nice about this location is it is a park. It's like Brothers. It is C10's in the park, and the whole family. It's like a big kind of circle here. We've got tons of trucks. We've got the canopy set up, and everybody and the kids, and everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, having my wife to have her own truck is great. It's funny actually because like when we roll in, I'm in the passenger seat and she's driving, and everybody's like, "What?"
oh, damn! She wears the pants in that house. Yeah, it's funny how that works. But we're glad you kept the truck, and well, I'd say we'll go to her Instagram, but I had to. She wasn't even sure what it was, and then I said, "Well, let's look it up and let's figure it out. And then I said, well, hell, it ain't gonna matter if there ain't no pictures on your truck anyway. So I'll take a couple pictures of the truck. Do you have a name for the truck?
Daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl. All right, you guys kicked it out of the park. I think it's what, LLG done. Okay, UNN and DULLGDUNN. And what's your Instagram?
I don't have one.
You don't have one. I should see if that Instagram's available. I don't have one. All right, you guys, we're out from this one. The Gonzalez Customs factory over here. We got a couple more interviews I think we're going to do while we're here. Late. All right, we didn't have to go far. What's up? Midday. They're saying it might rain, so I wanted to make sure I get my shiznit done today because I tend to warm up. It takes me a while to warm up, and then I run out of time. So I got Mike over here, 1968 C10 CST. Hey, let's get some CST badges on that door, bro. Yeah. Come on. Don't be slacking. Yep. Hey, I tell you what, Mike, this thing's beautiful. Stop me in my tracks. You got it laid out, red on white like nobody's business. So two-tone 68, white top, red, and it's rolling on some race lines. Mike, tell us about your C10, and we'll take it from there. Welcome to C10 Talk, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's got a LS motor, some 24 by 12s at the rear, raceline wheels, and some 24 by 9.5s in the front. I bought all my suspension products. It was all built at EA Body Shop in Richmond, Texas. We fabricated everything, me and my brother-in-law and my buddies, and just been rocking along, trying to get it ready for this show. Started in April and did a monster notch, put the bags in the 4-link and the Acura E-level, I-level, and I'm proud to be here. It's got all 13-inch disc brakes all the way around.
How long have you had this truck?
I've had it about 3 years, close to 3 years I've had it. I've been here twice with it. But it was last year, obviously, it was raised up. It was a little bit lower, but not as much as it is now. Yeah.
Are you real partial to the 68, or is it just that you found this 68? Because 67 68s are a very popular truck. Yeah. Were you specifically looking for this style, or were you just looking for any like second-gen C10?
Nah, just for this kind of truck here, I've built like 4 or 5 of them already. And every single one that I've built, I've never had a for sale sign. But my first truck was a 67 with the small window in the back, a step side, and it was green, all solid, that turquoise. But I love this style. See, really, I love all Chevys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's why we're here, right? We love these things, Chevy, GMC. We love these trucks. So let's go over here and look at the suspension, because you guys did a lot of fabricating yourself. Usually we see a chopping block, a Porterbuilt, we see a kit, and you guys built this in-house. What all did you do back here?
It's got a Thor Brothers step notch, Thor Brothers Watts link. All the bag mounts are Thor Brothers bag mounts, and also the 4-link is also from Thor Brothers. Great people over there. I place in an order, and it's simple, easy, good product, real thick metal. And then the front, obviously I did in the very front, I had to modify it till next year when I have time to buy a cross member. So that's an 1.5 inches. I sectioned the cross member.
You pancaked it.
Pancaked it for now. Yeah. Till I get some more money,
So you got 1/4 inch or 3/8 airlines in the back. Are you running 1/4 inch up front or 3/8? Okay, 3/8 throughout. Got some bi-air compressors. This thing, I'm telling you guys, it's funny because even though Mike's from the Houston area and they love their lip, these 12s don't. We go to LST and they're like 14s and 16s. Now let's go talk about this seat. This seat kind of grabbed me. He's got these buddy buckets in here, and I go, oh, did it come with buddy buckets? Because 68s, you'll see the buddy buckets in the 67 68s. He says, no, it's a center console, but these seats left and right, they look perfect and they look like they go, but you found them out of something else.
Yeah, they're out of a Dodge Sportster, like an RV, a 1970 through 75 RV. The original, the middle seat is the original buddy bucket, but with the money and trying to save some money, I was online and trying to figure out something that looked close to them, and I found these on eBay for $125, and man, I love them. They look nice.
Well, and I think I'm not 100% on this, but I'm like 95. I think you can get a Dodge version of a buddy bucket and it will work. So Dodge does have a buddy bucket, those older trucks. So you can get an old Dodge buddy bucket because the buddy buckets have come, where people want them so much. But what you did is the way you matched it, the way that it looks really good. I'll take a picture, you guys, and post it up so you can see, this is the buckets that he's kind of talking about. Now, did you guys repaint this truck?
Yeah, we painted it at EA Body Shop in Richmond, Texas. My brother-in-law. But it's got all new body panels, all new doors, hood, everything. So it was super easy. He did all the painting. It's got 5 coats of clear, hasn't been color sand yet. So I wanted to finish up all the suspension before I get it color sand, but good enough for me for now. Yeah. I love it.
So you drive this one every day? Is this your daily or is this your hobby truck?
My hobby truck, yeah. Okay.
Well, you got a name for this thing? It's tastefully done, brother.
Nah, I don't. Help me make one up.
I don't know, man. You got the Dodge seats. It's got the lip. Right now I'm thinking tasteful, but I don't know. It looks like we could eat it, doesn't it? Yeah. It looks like it'd be good. It'd be like a ripe. It's like a ripe cherry. I don't know. Yeah. Wild cherry, man. How much wild cherry soda did you drink when you were a kid? Because I drank a shit ton of wild cherry soda, dude. That wild cherry Pepsi. Yep. All right, Mike. So it's 1968 CST C10.
Yep. And Instagram. Yep.
Okay. You guys can check it out there. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Late. C10 Nation. We love our vintage trucks for their style, but those stock gauges are just old. When you're ready to freshen up your cab with the latest and best instrument system out there, go with Dakota Digital. They've got multiple styles available in full digital and analog with plenty of options. VHX comes in a few different colors, whereas the high-tech HDX series lets you pick your own colors anytime. Damn, son. There's even an app so you can set it up with your smartphone. Talk about rad. Integration with OEM or aftermarket EFI systems is no problem either. Available modules make new instruments basically a plug-in affair. Want to add power locks, cruise control, and LED taillights? Dakota Digital has what you need and a whole lot more. Their website is packed with electronic accessories to bring modern features to your classic truck. So hit them up. It's dakotadigital.com. I guarantee you'll love them. dakotadigital.com. Hey guys, we got JD from Marquet. JD, let's talk about bedwood.
Man, where do we start? We stock everything. So there's no third party, there's no waiting on vendors, there's no any of that because we build everything in-house. So we've got multiple kinds of exotic wood. We've got your pine, we've got oak, we've got all of that stuff that we keep in stock. We've got, I think, 6 different kinds of strips now, from a restoration style steel strip with exposed hardware to like a bump strip or a flat strip in high polished aluminum with hidden hardware. The options are literally endless. You're going to have it in 1 to 3 weeks, period. I don't care what type of exotic you order from us, what kind of strip you order from us. You're going to have it in 1 to 3 weeks. You know, one thing that's crazy, Ronnie, take a guess. I want you to take a guess at how many pieces of bedwood, single pieces we had to return in 2017 out of the thousands that we shipped out.
100?
1. That's the kind of quality we put into our bedwood. It's 100% kiln dried, grade A, the highest choice wood that any mill offers. For your listeners, we're going to do 10% off of all bedwood, all bed strips, and all hardware through October 1st. Mention C10 Talk, and we're going to give you 10% off.
Damn, son, 10% off?
That's right, Ronnie. Mention C10 Talk when you order, and we'll give you guys 10% off on bedwood and bed strips.
That's awesome. Thanks, JD.
Thank you.
One of those trucks where the truck is, it's one thing, but there's always a story, a little bit more that meets the eye. This truck's got a lot of different body parts in it, and then I realized Ryan, the owner, was recently just in the last Builder's Guide, and we were talking, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what truck this is now, kind of looking at it. The wheels kind of sucked me in. Obviously, the big block sucks me in, Ryan. Tell us about this truck and how you came about from buying it to where you are now. And welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Well, I bought it. It was wrecked. I knew where I wanted it to go, so I knew kind of the route I wanted to take. things changed over the years, but I met a lot of people, learned a lot of things, and it's been a lot of fun building the truck. And
when you say that, how long has this truck been in your life?
8 years, 8, maybe 9. I don't know. Time flies by.
When I interview people, when they tell me that stuff's been around that long, I have to say, has your vision changed in that time frame?
Oh yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, it was static drop, everything shaved, no emblems, anything like that on it. And the motor came apart, and while I had it out, I thought it's time to bag this thing. And then I started seeing trucks with trim on them and thought how good they looked, and kind of did my own version of it, two-tone, and put the badges back on it. And I love the way it is now.
Yeah, and we do too. And it was just in the Builder's Guide, Red Rat. You could see it laid out. And then another full circle, like you can almost think, when this truck came from the dealership, it had all this trim on it. Well, besides that grill, and we'll get to that. But then we do what we do, and we take it all apart, and we shave things, and we do all these cool things. Well, now you've brought it back full circle.
Right.
Now let's think about this article and how crazy it was that when you got in the Builder's Guide, Travis is the guy who wrote the article, and you alluded to that earlier off air. Tell us about that full circle.
So I got hurt probably 10 years ago. I was down for a while. I had a lot of time to look at magazines. I always looked at them. And I ran across Red Rocker, and that truck just sucked me in. And so I knew who he was, but not really till later I started putting things together. When I found out they wanted to shoot my truck for the magazine, I thought that was pretty awesome. When I found out he was going to be the one to write the article, I was kind of blown away, because his truck was what kind of inspired me to do this. And so I told him about it, and he thought it was the neatest thing ever. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, and another thing that Ryan kind of talked about is, since he's been in this scene for 10 years, just Chevy truck people, good people, good people. And
everybody wants to help. I mean, I don't know. It's awesome. A heck of a good family. I mean, good people.
The trucks are cool, but the people are cooler. Well, let's get over here and talk about this big block. So he's got this juicy beast in here. Let's talk about it. What can you tell us about this big block, and why did you go with the big block?
Well, it had a big block in it when I bought the truck. It was a mess. It needed completely gone through. So that's what I did. It's a 468, pretty mild engine. It's got a good set of flowing heads on it, good intake. I put fast fuel injection on it. It's got all good parts, all ARP. I wanted something that's going to hold together, but I wanted something that I could beat on and depend on. So it's definitely a good driver. It's fun.
Are you just a big block guy, or you just wanted something, when you said drive on and beat on, are you just a fast guy?
I'm a fast guy. I got a heavy foot. Okay. I wanted the torque. I had small blocks, stroker motors, and I always wanted a big block. And when I found this truck and it had one, this is what I wanted to do.
I like that booster. It's like you've got an external tank. What is that all about?
I didn't have enough brakes, not enough vacuum. Adding that tank gave me some reserve vacuum for a little bit more brakes. So braking's pretty important when you got a lot of go fast. You want to slow down.
I'm going to send you some literature on CPP's Hydro Boost, dude.
Right. That's the next way I want to go.
Yeah, I could tell. So let's go into the front. So one thing that's unique about Ryan's truck, there's a lot unique about his truck, but we just interviewed Walt D with his big 88, and you've got this front setup, and it looks pretty rad.
Yeah, so it's an 82 truck, and I took the front end off an 88 Suburban because I really like the grill setup. Chevy never made the truck like a half-ton regular cab with that front end, but I thought it looked good, and that's what I wanted to do.
Well, and for the experts out there, you guys, again, just to reiterate, 88 OBS if you're going to have a little truck like this. Yeah. So if you've got a single cab short bed, then you're running around in what would be an OBS, but the big boy trucks and the Bourbons and the Blazers, they had this. So Ryan found this front end. He's obviously got, all the headlights, but everything's really clean. His engine area, his engine bay is really clean. Now, another thing that I noticed right away was these wheels. So tell us a little bit about how you kind of came about this wheel setup.
So it's Detroit steel wheel. I really like I liked how that wheel looked. I thought if I put some slots in it, I know the slotted wheel never had that style of hubcap on it, but playing around one day, we stuck it on there, and I thought it really looked good, proportional. And I bought the wheels or the blanks, I guess, from Detroit Steel, and I shipped them to Scott at GSI. Told him what I was looking for, and he came up with the CAD drawing, and we agreed on it, and he cut them, and I got them back and powder coated them, and I love how they look. It's different.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely got that kind of that rally look to it. You've got, you know, a little bit of pop out there, and then you did well with the older hubcap too. So you've got a lot of times like a guy's going to see that and the yellow, but it goes with the red, it goes with the tan. Now let's go over here to the interior. You got this thing dumped out. What chassis are you laying out on this?
So it's a factory chassis. I moved the transmission cross member to gain more clearance. I took the factory cross member and sectioned it 2 inches, moved it forward a little bit, and then I built a set of brackets to mount a rack and pinion steering on it because I ran out of room with the factory steering. So it's still a factory cross member, but I have tubular Porter-built control arms on it. They're narrowed an inch.
What about spindles?
The spindles are Beltec drop spindle.
Yep. So you've got Beltec, you've got Porter-built arms, you've got essentially a 2-inch pancake stock cross member, and then you modified it so it can all handle a rack.
Yep.
Okay. Now in the back, you just made your own?
Yep. I made a cover for the differential. I found a junkyard truck and cut the bed out to make my own cover to kind of stick with the same bed floor. I raised the fenders. Pretty simple, really. I mean,
well, it's clean. Did you paint it because it's got this red going? It's a unique red. I don't know because it's not red, but it's not orange red. It's just really cool red.
Yeah, it's just a shade off from the GM color Victory Red. I love that color. I'm not a painter. I can do about everything but paint, but I got a buddy that does body work, and he helped me out a ton with it.
So you're on air. What kind of system are you running? What kind of air you got?
It's just kind of
manual switches with a pump.
Manual switches. I got 2 compressors, 2 tanks.
So are you four corner switch or are you 2 switch?
2 switch, okay. Rear, front, and rear.
All right. Yeah, I got his gauges here. I'm gonna say the most tasteful thing you've done on this truck is those 3 stripes right there. What made you do that?
So before the truck was two-toned and had any trim on it, it was solid red, everything shaved off. I really thought that stripe would help it. There's a guy, they call him the Wizard, in Tulsa, and he does some pretty awesome work, and I hooked up with him at a show, and he striped the truck for me, and I loved it. Later, I decided to put the two-tone on it, and it still works with it.
It does, you know, and for the audience, I could take a close-up. He's got, the orange is always cool with this red, and that's how they came from the factory. So when you look at, like, it makes me think of Vastain. He's got those stripes that he does now. Yeah. But it's crazy how, which I'm a big, you know, orange guy, but a little bit of orange on the bottom. It looks like you got a little bit of, like, a gray, silver color, and then the tan. And then you bring that in, and so he's got, it all matches, and it's crazy now to talk to you that you had that done before.
Right. Yeah. I asked him what he thought, and we kind of put our two together, and he's did this all freehand. He does amazing work.
Well, you've got a auto meter set up in there. You've got some killer. I'm thinking, I don't know, from out here it looks like kicker setup. Yep. You've got no expense on that, so the cab's where it's at. You're comfortable. You're hanging out. It's the Red Rat. Is that the name of it?
Yep.
All right, you guys check out Ryan's truck. What is it? Ryan _
Yeah, Ryan 2 underscores Albers, ALBERS.
Okay, so a double underscore. We got to make sure we get that one. Now you can see this in the C10 Builder's Guide that was last out. I'll take some pics of, and also, you know, if I'm going to take a pic of a magazine pic, I'll give credit, obviously. But Ryan, this truck is rad. And we're glad that you, Travis, and the Red Rocker were influential in this build because this is a really cool truck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Late. Red on red. I tell you what, I came over, actually. I was giving him a hard time. I came over to look at J-Wahl's square, and then I ended up talking to Ryan, and I think he's used to it. So he knew. The thing about it is, let's talk about Ryan's truck just because you're sitting next to it right now, but that freaking big block sucks you in. You know what I mean?
It does. There's been a couple times I've started my truck and then he fires his up and I can't tell mine's running anymore. It makes my small blocks, not sound so good anymore.
Well, let's talk about yours. Let's come over here. We'll start from the front. All right, so J-Wahl, you got 76 red. Got this cool ass black bow tie. Little mouse in here, a little small block, especially because we just looked at Ryan's. But the thing about it is, nothing to be ashamed of. This thing is clean. This engine bay, everything is tucked away. I always like to follow your stuff because you are extremely clean, which is attractive on Instagram. You are a red fanatic, and your shop is really tastefully clean, and you position everything just right. So for you guys out there in Insta world and in C10 land, it's J-Wahl 202, and you can watch just like I do to the show. So is 202, is that Oklahoma zip code or what is that?
No, just a number I always used growing up. I think it actually started as an old email address or something, and it just always stuck.
That was your fourth grade seat. They gave you the 202, and you're like, I don't know what the hell it is, but I got it. All right, well, let's talk about your square. How long have you had this truck, and what's the story behind it?
My dad bought this truck new in November of 1975. He had it since then, drove it every day to work. About 1999, he decided that he was going to buy something else to drive, wanted to redo it. So he did a restore on it then. That's still the paint it wears today. So the paint it wears today is about 20 years old. He painted it in his shop, first time he'd ever painted base coat, clear coat. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, he got sick and wanted me to have it. That was always the plan. Since has passed, but so he showed it for several years. Then I got my turn at it. I wanted to give it a little update from where it was. So I went in the direction I did now to give it a little update, but kind of tribute to him still.
So I'm assuming you probably never paint it because of that.
Me being me, and I'm a pretty picky guy, I would like to paint it again, but it's kind of a sentimental thing. So it's going to wear this paint as long as it can.
So why are you such a picky guy? Why are you somewhat anal about everything? Did you get that from your pops, or your attention to detail? You're a clean guy.
Well, I got it from him. He said I took it to a level way further than he ever anticipated. When we first started doing this, he always kind of told me, he's like, hey, we may not have the most money to do this. There's always going to be guys that have more money to do this. So what we do, we got to do it clean, better, simple, just do everything you do right and cleaner than the next guy. May not have the best high dollar truck out there, but everything you touch, try to make sure that it's neat and well done.
Well, and don't you think, what's your opinion? Do you feel like you get a lot of people admiring your stuff because of that? Something that your dad instilled in you, and now when we watch you on Instagram, when we come to the show and we see what you have, do you get a lot of compliments because of that?
Yeah, I think so. And everybody likes a truck with a story. Everybody's got their story and how they got started, but to me, to have the truck that I tried to get it, when I was 14, 15 years old, I tried to talk him into letting it be my first truck. He didn't let me have it. I'm glad now he didn't, because I'd have probably tore it up, done something I'd have regretted. And now I've got the truck I wanted, and later in life, and it's turned into what it is now.
Do you have a name from back then for this truck? Has it always been the same name? Is it something when you were a kid, your dad, you guys called it something?
We always called it Red. That was it. Kind of a joke because it was crimson red from the factory, which you guys know is kind of an orangey red. So that was always the joke. Was it red or was it orange? Well, we always called it Red. Now it's a couple more shades red, more red than the crimson red it was originally.
Well, I'm going to pull you over here because there's no reason for us to be standing in the sun. We're sweating our ball sack off. All right, you've got, again, let's just to look at the motor and go back. It's all very clean, small block. One thing I think about when I see your truck is I always see your wheels. They're very unique together. Did you add these since you got the truck from your dad?
Yes, these were kind of always the wheel I thought fit this truck. They're the Billet Specialties SLD 89 Ventex. I always just thought it was a timeless wheel, fit a truck that had trim on it, kind of a wheel that wouldn't go out of style, I thought. Just always what I envisioned on this truck. So when I got it, that was the route I knew I wanted to go.
And I think it really makes your truck, they go together. They complement each other really well. But I think if you changed out your wheel, I don't know that we'd all have a heart attack, but I don't think we would ever think it was your truck. I think it would change it that much, because when I see the Vintex, I know that it's your truck. It's one of those type of deals.
Yeah, I would have a real hard time changing these as well. Like I said, I just think they fit the truck. I think I'd be hard pressed to find a wheel that I'd like better than that.
All right, so what's your drop on this truck? I mean, you're sitting 5.7. Are you static on this truck?
No, it's actually air ride. It is bagged as low as I can get it with factory inner fenders and a factory bed floor. Again, being back to a truck, been in my family since new, I didn't want to cut up fenders and bed floor, do something that I'd regret. So we did air ride as low as it'll get, running factory inner fenders, and it has a under bed notch, but the bed floor is still intact.
Okay, what notch did you use?
It's a Western chassis notch. We did an adjustable bump stop so that we could get it where it's as low as it is without any interference with the bed floor.
Well, I think because you're although you're on air, but you're not a modified suspension, you're probably right at that 5.7. You know, I don't know. You think maybe you're at a 6.8?
I think my ride height is probably about a 5.7. Now I'd probably say 6-7 inch drop in front.
All right. So anything else you're going to do to this thing? Anything? You're done, and you've got your red OBS. I mean, sometimes you're kind of like the Beltec commercial or the old ad. You've got the red trucks. You post them up. You've got the OBS. Is this something you're going to leave this thing alone? This was, Pops' truck, Dad's truck, red, and now you're going to go over to the OBS and start monkeying around with that?
Yeah, there's a few more little touches I'd like to do to this truck. Nothing drastic. Keep the same appearance. But yeah, and then my focus is about to shift to the OBS. It's I've always been an OBS guy. That was the first truck I had that was bagged and got into the scene in, and I've always gonna have an OBS of some sort. So yeah, I'm about to shift focuses and start to work on that.
Well, if you guys want to follow along, you want to look at red. Do you have a name for the OBS?
We actually call it the red-headed stepchild. The reason behind that is it sets in the shop. It doesn't get driven a whole lot. It lives a pretty sheltered life, but the fact that it just sits around all the time, shoved in the corner of the shop, we call it the red-headed stepchild.
And how long have you had that? I feel like you've had it for a while.
Probably about 7-8 years now. I bought it to daily drive, and it was too nice of a little truck to drive.
Sweet. So if you guys want to follow, he's got the red and then the red-headed stepchild, a square, an OBS, and his style is clean. You've heard it a few times probably, the old Yezi clean, where Joe, he just gets pretty crazy. Well, J-Wahl got pretty crazy too, and sounds like your pops passed that on and didn't even know what he's getting into. But ultimately, respectful and tastefully done. We appreciate you taking time to talk to us today. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Mercy, mercy. I've been looking forward to this for at least 1 year. You ready? All right, we're live. Probably one of my favorite trucks to watch and follow, and honestly, even his 68 anniversary truck, these guys do great work. We got an interview a little bit last year, but Junior, so the brick here, we gave him a hard time last year. $51.52. You follow him on Instagram. This dually, tell us about this truck. Now, is this going to be your truck?
Yes.
Okay, so let's hear about you and your dad finding this truck and working on this truck, and tell everybody about this truck and how much fun it's been to learn on this truck and work on this truck.
Well, we had a lot of fun with all this, and I think that whenever we first got it, it looked pretty cool, but I didn't like all the stuff that it came with. Yeah. So my dad said, we're going to take the mud flaps off, and the first thing we did was take the mud flaps off.
Did that look a lot better?
Yes.
What about those running boards?
We had to take those off.
So you're one of those kids that a little bit less is more. So take some of that other stuff off, and let's get down to the truck of things.
Well, there was some horses on the hood, and there was a hole in the hood that we couldn't take out, so we had to put a different ornament on.
What about I heard that there was names on the side of the doors. What do you think about that?
I didn't like them very much.
So did you help Dad take them off?
Yes.
What's your favorite part when you're out helping Dad do work on Lillian? What's been your favorite part, like the motor, the interior, cleaning it up?
Well, I think just like how he says, just to hand out tools.
Are you getting real good at knowing what tools to hand them and then where they go in the toolbox?
Yes.
So besides hanging out with Dad, what's your favorite part of wrenching and working on the truck?
Well, I think just like putting all the motor mounts and stuff on.
So I'm trying to think. Last year when we were getting ready to talk to you, I think you were 8. So are you 9 this year?
No, I was 7. I'm 8 now.
Okay. 7 and 8. So you're 8, but you're built like about a 10 or 12-year-old. You do know that. You're a big boy.
Yes.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna mess with you. You're like a linebacker, ready to just pounce. Are you gonna go over there and get some stickers now that you came on the show?
Yes.
Now, what's gonna happen with the 68 now that you got this pretty truck?
Well, my dad said we're gonna get a different chassis and put it on air.
Oh boy. So now once I know you're not 100% done with this, but there'll always be something. But now you'll switch back to the other truck.
Yes.
Welcome to trucks. If one ain't enough, you got to have another one. Keep working. Well, this is definitely one of my favorite trucks to follow right now. So we're gonna go to the boss. You guys got this. Tell the story about where you got this thing, where it came from, how you got it, and I do think you've been running hard to get it to here to this show. That I feel like that's been your goal.
Yeah, definitely, Ronnie. We found this in Toledo, Ohio, in a state sale. I've got a good friend up there in the state police that gave me a shout out on it and told me it's a truck I need to look at. And we were looking for a dually and a tow pig at that time. And when we found it, man, we knew it was the one. And we got it, and it had just right at 28,000 original miles on it. Big block, everything was untouched on it. We unpeapawed it and decided that big block wasn't going to do it. And we wanted to do a 12 valve. And with this being the end date, we knew we were coming. And Cody Crawford, I gave him the challenge of finding an LBZ motor and a 6-speed Allison. And you can't challenge him. We were headed to Las Vegas about 3 days later. So that's how it all came about. Found the truck real clean, decided we had to do a swap into it to make it the tow rig. And this is where it's at, man. We finished it about 3 weeks ago and got about 1,400 miles on it, drove it down from Amarillo.
Yeah, this thing is immaculate, and some of the stories. So when I did a diesel episode, and it seemed like the guys, the kind of the gist I got out of that episode was, if you've got a square body, which it seems like most guys are putting the diesels in the square bodies, maybe 71, 72 style, but that it's easier to put a 12 valve or one wire mechanical 12 valve 24 in one of these trucks. And if you want a Duramax and you want an Allison, then you're probably better off to take the sheet metal over onto the Duramax truck. Right. Would you say that? I mean, now that you've done it, not a lot of guys are running Duramax with Allison 6-speeds in their square bodies. What was it? What was some of the bigger challenges you faced?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't. If you have a great donor truck and you have a great chassis, I'd say that's a much easier way to go. I do not deny that. But when you see this truck and the chassis we had and it being so mint the way it was, that wasn't an option for us. And so the support's out there. Precision Fabrication out of Northern California, standalone harnesses. I mean, it's coming on strong where you can do it and you can bolt and put pieces together, but you need to be ready to do a lot of aftermarket fabrication. That's where Cody Crawford, Todd Crawford's help really came in. And I mean, there was a lot of hours, especially to make that factory hood fit, because it's a tall engine. To make that thing work, I mean, you got to cut the floor out, go to the high hump, which from 67, 72, that's big block, small block, right? That's what we mess with. Square body stuff, that's 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive stuff. So we learned that, got a donor cab, cut the floor out. Todd cut the floor out for us, and we started working that in, the longer hump, the high hump. And I mean, besides that, some of the stuff, that were super challenges, to make it fit would be, and then, the Hydro Boost unscrewed from the 80 big block and screwed right into the 07. So, I mean, there's some things that it was meant to be there, and there's some things that are a hell of a challenge. So to get it to blow the cold air running down at highway speed, you're working with Duramax parts, old air parts, and all 80 model parts. So, I mean, it's a challenge, but I mean, I think if you take your time and slow down. If you start off with this solid rig, I wouldn't tell anyone not to do it.
Yeah, you guys have, I can almost think you have been inundated with questions because as people kind of look back to the forum days, that if this was on the forum, there would be more dialect going back and forth. But now we're in the Instagram days. I can only imagine how many times you not only do get DM'd, how many more you will. Because even with Yellowstone, how many times I get DM'd about the drop, the tire size, this, that, and the other ways. Whereas back in the forum days, you had a point of reference to go back and say, oh, this is what they did here. Oh, they tunneled this. Even where you've got the smaller battery on the driver's side, you run in the dual battery, you got your computer over there, the Hydro Boost setup that you have, everything, like you said, the tall deck, what intercooler to run, because it all has to fit in a limited spot. And it makes you realize like what these engineers go through when they're building this shit nowadays. You're like, holy crap, how'd you fit all that in there? And what guy decided to put that harness there or whatever? Now you guys are doing it on the fly.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, and it's all about these shows. And I'll tell you straight up, Ronnie, we all didn't know what you were about 1 year ago with the podcast. We all kind of backed away from you. I'd never heard of a podcast. Todd
still back away from me.
Yeah, we had no idea at all. And so we downloaded that, and I'll tell you, that's a big help, first of all. And then getting on Instagram, you know, Pro Touring Texas, that guy, he's got the plaid inner fenders with the boosted Suburban, and that's where at a show we saw the intercooler. That's a Treadstone intercooler. I mean, you got to do your homework and look and see what's going to fit and what's going to work. And that was our goal, to keep this as original as looking as you could and not chop the truck up because of what it is. So that was the challenge. But I mean, if you slow down, do your work, take your notes, listen to the podcast, I mean, all those things, I mean, it's very doable. We did this in a 2-car garage. This never left my 2-car garage. We didn't have a lift, nothing. We did it in our shop, and that makes me proud to be able to say that, because I mean, you have too many people that write checks to these shops, and that's not what it's about. Your kids don't learn anything, as you just heard Brecken talking. I mean, he can tell me what wrench, you know, he's bringing now, and that just means a lot to all of us.
Yeah, and this truck, I can't imagine this truck would ever even leave the family. I mean, to think that you get it in an estate sale, it's got, 20,000 miles on it. The side of the owner's names on, the driver's side, the passenger side. That's why you guys named it Lillian. It's crazy to think of so many different things that you guys have went through. But again, and I hate to beat a dead horse, no pun intended with the horse puller, but to think right now, if you could say, well, I want to take the best truck out there and I want to take the best powertrain and build it, this is what you guys did. So, I mean, obviously a Duramax, you got an LBZ, a 12 valve, you're not going to go wrong with either one of those. You're going down the road, six gear, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we came down from Amarillo about 83, 4 mile an hour. It was turning 2,100 RPM. We kept the stock rear end. That's another. I've had a lot of questions on the wheels, and if we cut the axle, Tennessee Wheel and Tire, that's their toe nasty setup. They take that rear inside dual and they cut it and move it out to the outside hoop where you don't have to cut anything, and they guarantee the fitment. You can see the fitments there. So I mean, we build these things to drive. Todd and Cody, everything they got, we drive. And so I mean, down the road, we want to be able to run 80 miles an hour with the cold air blowing and the tunes going, and that's our goal. So we looked for the LBZ setup with the 6-speed because we have a 410 rear end. We dropped a little overall size with the tires and wheels, so we gained a little gearing there. But I mean, it's still, we're turning 21. We got right under 17 miles a gallon coming down.
Yeah, I was wondering if it had the 410s. Now, you didn't have to narrow anything, and then what about braking? Did you change anything on the brakes?
So actually, no, we didn't change anything on the brakes. It's a Hydro Boost setup, and that was one of our major concerns. But I'll tell you, the brakes are just fine on it. They did them really right in 80 apparently. But yeah, running down the road, 410 rear end, it does great, man. I mean, I will tell you this, Ronnie. I want you to put it out there. I'm getting asked by a lot of people that know a lot more about these than I do about the wood bed and the dually. Oh, yeah, so it hadn't been seen. So if you got pictures of them, I'd love to see them because I'm getting asked about it. And I've got the build sheet. It's on the build sheet. I mean, the original build sheet's right there. It's original paint truck. Everything's there. I just would like to see them where I could show other people the other wooden beds in these dualies. So
I agree. I mean, I could see it like I know Yezi had he called it Blues Cruise, and it was his 73-4 crew cab that had original wood bed, and even he said that was kind of a rarity back then. obviously the 6772s you're going to see wood beds, but an 80 with a wood bed, they had to special order that. And I don't know if it was because they thought it was going to be a farm truck or what you guys have reasoned that, hey, this is going to be a farm truck, it's going to be a big hauler, and they want to put some damn sheep in the back or something and not mess up that floor. But that is it's a rarity, brother.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's 81E wood bed. I'm not sure. We can look at it in a minute, but I'm curious too. Everybody piqued my interest on that because you just don't see it. I mean, we've walked around this. There's 800 trucks here, and that's one thing me and my boy always look at, and he's pointing out wood beds right and left, but you just don't see them in a 1-ton in a dually. So,
and this green, I mean, one thing, when you do such a good job of going out and kind of getting that, I guess I don't know. I think it's probably the morning light. Knowing you, you're probably up so damn early, but I feel like it's a morning light, but it could be an evening light as sun's going up, sun's going down, and you capture this truck with those, with those wheels, and then this emerald green. And I don't even know what like the paint coat is on here, but it's just like a foresty emerald green, and you do a really good job of just showcasing it. We were talking. He's like, I don't know if I do a good job on Instagram. You do a great job on it, and it's hard, to think, well, how much people want to know, and do they want to know? Do they not want to know? Hell, on this truck, they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know everything you did, and it's always good to put it out there. And even just like you said, for discussion, you look at, like we were talking about some of the drop stuff and how companies there isn't that many companies that are doing the big 8 lugs and getting these things on the ground. And little by little, the more we've seen out here, these 4 wheels in the back is they're coming on strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, Western Chassis was the only place 1 year ago that I could find the drop spindles and the flip kit for the back. And now you were just telling me about 2 other companies that you're aware of and that's coming on strong. So I think these are going to, obviously the squares are just coming on so strong, and the bigger dualies, it's just going to blow up. There's no doubt.
I think too, and sometimes it's funny because we wish we could. There's celebrity right there. Hey, who's that guy with the socks? We wish we could, buy them all. But I think another thing, for the listener, the reason why I think you're going to see these crews is, in a dually, because they were big farm trucks and they were trucks that they used for hauling, and they didn't run them every day. So you can, I don't know if you can find them for 20,000 miles. That's tough, but you can find them where, maybe they're 50, 60, under 100, and they're not beat to shit. The bodies are in good shape. Now, depending, what we're finding out for Arizona folks is if it's an Arizona truck, maybe a Cali truck, depending on where it was parked, the interior is going to be shot, but the body's going to be great. But then you take a Minnesota truck, and the body's bad, but the interior is pristine. You guys just happened to find an Ohio truck that was just taken care of and hardly driven, and the whole thing is probably, some of it's 10 on a 10. There's probably nothing that's anything worse than an 8 on a 10 on the whole truck.
Yeah, we did get lucky, and that was, I live in Texas, Amarillo, Texas, just right outside of it, and this came up in Toledo, and I said, take tons of pictures. And this thing, I don't know what they used back in the day for coating. And he had everything put on this from the dealer. It has the dealer stamps on all the pamphlets, all the running boards, the lights. Everything has the dealer stamps on it. And then that black coating underneath it is just unreal thick. So, he did his homework. He knew what it would take to keep it right, but he just never drove it. It stayed in a pole barn, and it just is what it is, man. We got super lucky, and I don't doubt that. We've got one good ding on the driver's side fender up here at the top that came with the rig, and I got a dent guy that I talked to about it. He said, I think I can get it. We said, leave it.
Yeah,
that helps everybody know that it's an original paint rig, and it's unmolested. So, and another joke we've got in our inner circle, my 50th anniversary has a bad front driver fender, and I tell everybody I don't own a truck with a good front driver fender, so just leave it alone. So
that might be your new shop. It's like you never know. But when you look at that just shows that it's real. It's part of the truck. It's character. It probably would be cool to know the story of how it happened.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and it makes who it is. So you guys are killing it. Really, the funny thing about it is, too, when we interviewed you guys last year, we got Todd. We can't get Cody. Cody don't want to do it, man. Let's go for the 3rd year. Let's go next year. Let's see if we can get Cody to do it. But, guys, check him out, $51.52. What else? What else you want to say?
And that's it. Enjoy the podcast.
Enjoy, yeah. You enjoy it. Hey, you pitch the podcast, and I'll pitch your Instagram.
Hey, that sounds good. I like it, man. Sounds good.
All right, you guys, check it out. Again, these guys kill it, and I don't know. I'm kind of wondering what you guys will bring next year, because you haven't cease to amaze us with. I know we got the bourbon, Todd's bourbon. We saw that at C10 Nationals. We interviewed him about the Blazer last year. We got the Dually this year.
You need to talk to him about getting that Suburban out to Dino's. We're thinking about bringing this truck.
Does he
and
know
the
what we
Suburban
just
out to
talked
Dino's.
about? We already.
That's
20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago, I told him. We pulled up the address. It's 10 hours.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you guys got it. All right. Sounds like we're going to see these guys in November. Thanks, brother.
Classic Performance Products, CPP, has a few new products out. Let's start with their new HydroStop Street Beast hydraulic assist systems. CPP's HydroStop Street Beast is a direct fit, high-performance hydraulic brake assist system that works great when running a performance engine setup and there is not enough vacuum produced to operate a traditional booster. Simply plumb into your power steering system and share the fluid reservoir with your power steering pump to your high-performance brake system. Assembled with all new parts, this unit puts out an amazing 1800 PSI at the wheels. How about their new 14-inch big brake kits? CPP now offers a 6-piston, 14-inch big brake system for your Chevy truck, featuring 2-piece pre-assembled, drilled, slotted, and zinc-coated rotors, 6-piston billet aluminum calipers with DOT-compliant dust and weather seals, premium stainless hardware, and braided stainless brake hoses. These brakes work with their modular and Corvette-style spindles. Remember, use C10 Talk at checkout and save 10% off your order. Damn, son, 10%? www.classicperform.com. Hey guys, I've been buying my truck parts from brotherstrucks.com for over 20 years now. These guys just aren't selling parts. They build trucks. They have their own trucks. They attend shows. They're part of our community. I saw Jim Flanders at C10's in the Park in Texas and also at Dino's Get Down out here in Arizona. And that's why I continue to buy my parts from Brothers. One thing I remember Jim Flanders saying when I interviewed him for the podcast: when we buy parts, we buy the best parts possible so that you, the consumer, will get the best parts possible. Sure, they have the opportunity to buy a lesser made, lesser quality part, but they know that it's going to you, the C10 Nation. So when you buy your parts from brotherstrucks.com, rest assured you're getting the best part possible. So when you're looking to restore your 1947 through 87 Chevy or GMC truck, go to brotherstrucks.com. That's brotherstrucks.com.
Pretty stoked about this one because sometimes we're able to do a little follow-up, right? My boy Soup C10, the brown bagger, Jason and I get together. We've been talking before C10's in the trailer park last year. You brought the brown bagger out last year. Everybody was swarming you. You were on like vendor row because you were in GSI's booth. And, you've taken that truck. It's got a lot of publicity. How about brown bagger? How's that truck been this year?
Well, I haven't broke her this year. Turbo 400's hanging up to my right foot so far. We did tow her.
That just means you haven't driven it that much. That's all.
I'm just, trying to stay out of trouble and a couple things I want to do to it. But we towed it out here this year with my wife's Suburban, the one from C10 Air, Lucky Bee. Put that 5.3 4L6D. And, of course, anytime we go on these kind of trips with these old trucks, it's eventful. Something you'll remember for the rest of your life. We had some issues, but we fought through them. I brought my head mechanic, Gonzo 1364, with me to help.
Yeah, so you've got
3 hours. We got it nonstop, 3 breakdowns.
Yeah, only 3. The last one with the lugs is kind of crazy, but we'll get into that. So last year you bring out the brown bagger. This year you trailer the brown bagger with the bourbon that you won in the raffle. Yep. And you've got a conversion in that. You got a 5.3 in that. That thing's kind of like Yellowstone's sister because it's the same color. It's beautiful. The inside of that thing is, I was just looking at it. I think it's awesome looking interior. But the most important thing that we wanted to talk about, because you and I are in contact, we kind of direct message and text and stuff, is that whole kind of and really no pun intended, I just thought of this, but C10 Club today is doing the Road to Recovery. And they're doing it kind of as something more fun, where a lot of the guys that are in the C10, kind of the valley, the Central Valley and SoCal, are driving to NorCal today for the C10 intervention, which is going to be tomorrow, and that's going to be their show. It just happened to be the same weekend as C10's in the trailer park. But the road to recovery, really, and your road to recovery. It's something that you're beyond passionate about, is your honesty about being an addict and working through that, and your road to recovery, and how every day is a new day, and every month. And now for you and I, and our interview from last year, we got a year now, and now not only are you still kicking ass, but now you're helping others. Yeah.
At the end of this month will be 19 months with 0 milligrams of opiates. Addict, call it tolerance. You can use the pills just like your doctor prescribes, but if you do it long enough, you will become addicted. A lot of people don't want to, I was an addict, or it doesn't matter if you're shooting dope or taking pills. There's hope that you can get clean. And if anybody wants to DM me, I can help you with some basic instructions on, how to start tapering down. But yeah, definitely life preservation methods became my goal about 9 years ago when I quit drinking. 5 years after that, quit smoking cigarettes. A little less than 5 years after that. I'm going on 19 months, so do the math.
Yeah, and when we had you 12 months ago,
I was still fresh to being, clean and sober. But wow, another year added to that. And I said I felt 1,000 times better. Try 1,000,000 times better now. And wow, my marriage has gotten so much better. It was good before, but now it's phenomenal. And like I said, that's really I'm sure it saved my life and hopefully a couple others. And you guys could pay it forward and save some other people for me.
And he's got some turbulence there. One of the things that he was in AZ in Arizona, and now he's in North Carolina. They didn't even know if they were going to make it out, right? You thinking, hey, this hurricane's coming in, Florence is coming in. So, it's not like you're status quo all the time either. You moved your family out to North Carolina, so there's a lot of stress in your life, and you're working through it. You're staying clean, and you're motivating, and you're helping other people.
We feel a calling out there. Not only is it beautiful country and we love the South, but I know there's a lot of help I can do out there, and the truck club scenes, we'll get it popping out there. It's all good.
Okay, so what about Kermit? Let's talk about Kermit. Oh, yeah. So Soup and Gonzo are rolling around this weekend, and they got this little Kermit doll, and they're like, hey, we want to take a couple pictures with Kermit. And what are you kind of thinking with this doll? What are you going to do? This is fun. What are you thinking?
So Gonzo and I came up with the idea of blowing this little plush stuffed animal Kermit. We're gonna blow him up on social media.
Yeah, make sure you say blowing up. Don't say just blowing. Yeah. Yeah. What he does, it is Kermit, man. Yeah. But you said you and Gonz, so you're gonna blow him up.
Okay, Kermit, let's get this straight.
Kermit, not like the Thanksgiving parade. Blow him up. We got Kermit, a stuffed doll. They're gonna blow him up on Instagram.
Little Kermit real popular over the next year and take him to all these spots. We came all the way from Phoenix. We stopped at all these neat spots, took pictures with him, and like Dino on his blower on his Pro Street truck, and C10 Talk's booth, and Gonzo's going to keep, everybody that knows me knows my homie's Gonzo 1364. He's going to do a bunch of Southwest type spots with him, and he's going to mail them up to North Carolina. Me and my family's going to take them up, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Virginia, go up into the Capitol, and, go to all those spots. But what we're really after is, after 1 year, we're going to take him to Dino's, get down all these spots. We're going to auction them off, and 100% of the proceeds, all the money's going to go to the Children's Hospital out in Phoenix. Yeah.
Well, what kind of put you behind it? What made you guys think to do something fun like that?
Well, Gonzo came up with the idea of photobombing with Kermit all over the place, and then I said, hey, let's get it really fun, and let's do something where some kids that need some help can, we can get rid of two birds with one stone type thing, and I'd do about anything for the kids, man.
Yeah. So have fun. You get a photobomb Kermit. We need to come up with like kind of a funny name for this traveling Kermit. All right. The Traveling Kermit. Gonzo's telling me, he's like, listen, it's the Traveling Kermit. # Traveling Kermit. And then just for fun. And then the other thing that comes out of it is obviously you auction it off at Dino's Get Down 2019. And it's got a year under its belt. And then you get to make some money for the kids, little homies in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll run it past Dino and see what he says.
Oh yeah, he's all about that.
Helping people, I'm sure.
Well, just like you, right? Just like you. So you got the bourbon, you got the brown bagger, the bourbon's got
a car trailer last week just so we could bring it here. It was like last minute everything, but we made it.
Oh, you did make it. You and I were talking, and you thought, hey, I don't even think I can make it because I can't leave my family. We're in North Carolina. And then you guys all kind of were able to get out of there before the hurricane started hitting. And then you guys were able to put it all together. You guys came out, the brown bagger, the bourbon. Do you guys have a name for the bourbon?
Yeah, Lucky B.
Lucky B, because you guys won it?
Yeah. And the B doesn't stand for bourbon. I gave it to the wife. We'll just leave it at that.
All right, Lucky B. Yeah. All right. I think I already figured it out, but the wife's running the bourbon because she's a Lucky B. And the brown bagger. All right, Jason, you guys can follow him. Soup C10, Gonzo.
1364.
What's the 1364? Birthday and year, all right. You're old, man. 1364. All right, Gonzo 1364. These guys are both C10 Vatos. They're both part of C10 Nation. They're C10 Club. These guys are good dudes, doing exactly what we need them to do. They're, doing good things for a good cause. Thanks, Soup.
Yeah, anytime, sir. We'll do it again soon.
All right, bro, late. Sometimes at the end of the day, I like to walk around and just see what's left, and kind of after the dust settles, some of these trucks that are still here, and then they catch your eye, and this one is a looker. Now, I don't know what color this is, but it's got like an orange, but it's definitely got some red, and slope nose square, a lot of lip. So we got John Reyes. He's based out of Austin, Texas, part of Team Billet. This thing's rad. Tell us about your truck. Welcome to C10 Talk. Thanks for taking time. I know you're getting ready to kind of wrap up here, the family. Tell us about this thing. It's a sweet ride.
It's an 87 C10, full frame, restoration, Porterbuilt front suspension, and a 2-link and rear suspension with the wishbone powder coated full frame, small block 350 crate with a small cam, dressed up, march pulleys, slot stubs, custom interior, you know it.
Who made your seat?
I bought it's the original 87 bench seat. I just bought the Snowden foam kit, and I got from Austin, Texas. He has a upholstery shop. He upholstered the seat, the dashboard, and the door panels. I bought it from LMC Truck just to give it a different look, and I just matched the material and the headline and all that to make something different, compared to what everybody else doing. So
well, it brings it together, and for the audience, he's got the LMC door panels. They kind of swoop down back from the from the B post. They swoop down forward, so they clear his arm. It kind of create this armrest, and they clear the handle, and then the Snowden is I see that a lot, so you kind of know that's the Snowden foam that you put in there, the way it kind of curves, and he does a real good job, and people love that because it's so comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if we're going to ride these things, might as well be comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel like it's night and day with these seats right here. You go from point A to point B, and man, you're like, nope, your back's not hurting, none of that, so.
Well, now tell us more about this. I mean, you've got these just race lines that are just deep as hell in the back, and then we got to get into the way you handled your trim, and then what's going to draw all of us in is this color. So we still got a lot to talk about. This thing is rad.
Well, this color I chose, it's the 2013 Camaro called the Inferno Orange. That way, it caught my attention because of the orange pearl. When the sun hits, it has like a kind of like a yellowish pearl in it. So that's why I grabbed ever since the first building this truck, and that's what I wanted, something orange, but with the pearl in it, and that Camaro orange really caught my eye since the beginning.
I didn't really think about it. Now that I kind of look at it, you do see that. So for the audience, it's that newer Camaro color. You kind of think of that orange pearl that was real popular, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, but it's darker. It's got a little darker to a little meanness to it. So, and then all lip, man. I know you Texas guys, you love that lip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did the race line status wheel, the 22 and 8.5 in the front, and 24 by 15 in the back.
Say that again, 24 by 15. I want the audience to see. 24 by 15. These things are huge. You could put not one baby, you could put 3 babies in there.
Oh yeah, 3 babies, maybe 4. Maybe a goat too and a dog.
Goat. What about the column? You got digital cluster, you got a different column in there. You did a lot of work.
Yeah, I did the believe it's the Fleming River billet aluminum, whatever you call it, for the year model 7387. Just basic, I didn't when I did this build, I didn't put the windshield wipers back on, so now I regret it because now I can't drive in the rain. But everybody said, "No, just leave it like that," because driving in the rain was so clean. But It's it's an unending project. Everybody knows out there. You build one thing, you never ends. You're always changing, new ideas coming out. new technology coming out. So it's the Dakota Digitals. They're the old school one. Yeah, these are the regular.
It looks like it's their old digital version.
Digital version. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's kind of got the old school digital. Now, why is 82? Why is slope nose square? What's your favorite? Do you just like this style? Why is this your favorite era, or how'd you end up getting this truck?
Well, my dad back in '84, he bought one '84 Silverado, fresh off the lot, and ever since then, they always stuck to me ever since I was growing up. And then he ended up selling it, and then we went on, finished high school, and I came across this one for a good price, and then and started going to all these shows and seeing all these big lips coming around, and so I had to give me one to start from the frame up, and it's not ongoing.
Crazy how we all grew up sitting there. I was just talking to some of the guys. I'm like, you sit over there now where your daughter's going to sit, and you're looking at that Silverado, that Cheyenne. It's right there, that branding over there in that passenger side. Well, John, you did a great job. I love the color. Did you end up painting it? You have somebody in Austin paint it?
Yeah, I got a friend. He has a restoration shop there in Austin. He did pretty much stripped down to bare metal to the frame, and started it's like a 3.5 year process, little by little working on it, but yeah, it was a stressful build, but it's well worth it,
How's been the response? You come out here, you come out to the show, people are seeing it. People are eyeballing it. They're checking it out. How's the response been when people talk to you about it?
Oh, it's been great, man. I mean, I've gotten a lot of, kudos, and just people just love the theme of the truck with the color, the wheels, the way just, all put together. I mean, and really, I never thought I'm seeing this level pretty much, but, there's more out there, way better. But, this is my vision. This is what I like. And, people see that and they appreciate it,
You put the whole package together. So your recipe did really well. Your paint, your interior, the race lines, the suspension, the drop, the whole package comes together, and it really, that's why this truck is a winner. And I think people are, and for you, like, you're being modest. You're like, well, I'm not that level, but you are, because you killed it. Even the hood emblem looks good. Oh, yeah. You handled that well. You got the orange on there. You brought it all together. Do you have a name for this truck?
Well, I named it Last Minute Decisions because, from every show that I go to or everything, I'm always doing last minute still, thanks to it, changing, mods or interior, you name it. It's never ending. So I call it, Last Minute Decisions.
LMD. Because I tell you what, that makes me feel good, because I do the same thing. I mean, half the time you're racing to get here, you're like, what should I do? So that, I guess, company, misery loves company type deal, because a lot of truck guys are like that. John, is there a way the audience can check this thing out? Do you have a social media?
No, I sure don't. My wife has one, and my brother, he posts, pictures on the truck, at shows or whatever. So through him, they know, who the truck is. So.
I took a couple pics. I'll post it up, and we'll get some last minute decision going out there. John Reyes, Austin, Texas. Thanks for your time, man.
All right, thank you.
happened to come over and see my buddy Vastine over here at his paint booth and paint area, and I see this mean-ass red 67, 68 C10. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Hellboy. So I walk over, and there's nobody here. But he kind of has a booth thing set up. He's got a little tent. So I went and did another interview. I came back, and he's getting ready to load up. So I caught him. So we have Jason Vanetta, make sure I say it right, out of Missouri, Sedalia, Missouri, and his company is called Vanetta Fabrication. So if you say it fast, it goes a little smoother. Vanetta Fabrication. So I have to kind of preface this on me saying, dude, have you ever heard of C10 Talk? And he goes, I think I've heard of it. And we're kind of rapping about the truck and talking. He's kind of giving me a kind of a pre-tour of it. And he's like, how have you not heard of me? Like, how have you not heard of Vanetta Fabrication? We build 2 killer C10s a year. So it is funny in this world that we do think social media brings us all together, but he's kind of more, you know, Missouri, kind of east, and I'm more west. So we're making it happen now. This is a really rad truck. Reminds me again of Hellboy a little bit. Jason, tell us about why you do 2 C10s a year, and then let's talk about this rad-ass ride. Thanks for coming on the show, bro.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. We actually do 4 a year. We do 2 at a time because we have 2 weight schedules. It takes about 6 months a piece, so you get 4 done a year. We fit in.
Is that always just cars, or is that just C10s right now?
It's 67 to 72 C10s, basically.
You know that these trucks are that popular that you're just like, get the frame, get the cab, and let's start building.
Pretty much. We have 2 waiting lists, and they're both about a year long. Yep.
That's a good problem to have. Okay, so how did you get into building C10s?
I was raised with C10s. Dad and I built them for farm use when I was a kid, when we were farmers, so they made good trucks for that. And we had one that was sporty for taking to cruise nights and whatnot. And then I built myself one years ago. Ended up selling it to a customer, finishing it for a customer. It turned out to be a pretty wild build with LS swap, chop top, body dropped, all that. Then I started building this one, which got a lot of attention. And then the C10 customers started kind of lining up, and just kind of went from there.
So how long, you like you said, you kind of alluded that you started with this one, and then this one really got the word out. How old is this truck? How long has this build been, around?
I just went over the 3.5-year mark on my build.
So you've been building C10s from that perspective, kind of like at the 4-year mark, you're building 2, 3, 4 a year. You've got a wait list now. Assembly line's kind of getting going. You've got your recipe down, I'm assuming.
Yes, we've got it figured out now. We're really pushing more towards using the aftermarket chassis. Actually saves money over highly modifying the original chassis with all the parts. Trying to get everybody to go to the crate motors like LS3s, because you build a 5.3 or an LS1, you've got about the same money in it. LS3 is going to come with a warranty and lots of horsepower, so.
Okay. Yeah, so you are working on that recipe. Now, let's go in the front, and we'll kind of take a tour of this truck, and then we can kind of bring it back to Vanetta Fabrication as well. So you do a lot of stuff. This is just a mean machine here in the front. It's got the just beautiful 67, 68 front end. You've got you got a big motor here. You got the sniper set up, LS motor. You've got some of your different fabrication stuff here. Tell us all about this engine bay and what you guys did here.
Well, engine bays, my truck's used for a lot of advertising for us because our parts department's a big part of our business. We got the aluminum underhood panels, the inner fenders, full-length radiator cover, core support filler panels, 5-piece firewall panel. Then the motor's a Corvette LS1 I had rebuilt, and I put a thumper cam in it, and long tube headers, and LS3 pump, and just a few other things. And put a rebuilt Camaro T56 6-speed behind it, and then a Ford 8.8 rear end with 410 gears.
So you have, you're fabricating. You guys obviously do a lot of bead roll, a lot of sheet metal work. Was this kind of like the truck you test fit a lot of this stuff? You created a lot of this, and then you noticed that there was a lot of demand, and then from there you just continued this recipe?
Yeah, this truck's known as Guinea Pig because we do all of our testing on it. We design all of our panels on it, and anywhere from fabricating to paint and new techniques for cutting and polishing, we do all that on my truck, so it works great for that.
What suspension is on this truck?
I have Porterbuilt in the front with CPP drop spindles, and the rear is R4 Link we build, and our monster notches with Firestone F90-100 bags.
Okay, what system? What bag system?
Oh, it's all controlled by AccuAir. I got the E level with the I level, and I got the AccuAir VT tank.
Okay. Yeah, you're talking our language now. All right, you got some hood hinges keeping this thing afloat here, I see. What look like Porterbuilt hood hinges?
These are Porterbuilt hood hinges, but they actually have our hood hinge. It's an aluminum piece that is laser cut to match our inner fenders.
Okay, it does. It looks like, you can kind of see the way it struts up. It looks obviously like, and then you rolled some supports here. You have on your cowl, you have those supports put in there. That's something, I think on the Porterbuilt, those cut and then pop through, right? So you added those support on those hinges or on those shocks, struts?
Those are the Porterbuilts. I molded them into the firewall to get rid of the bolts. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go around here and let's go over here to the interior. You got some, I'm assuming these are TMI because it's got the TMI little rivets in there. Are these TMI seats?
Yeah, I've been a TMI dealer for a few months, so I've got the TMI seats, TMI door panels, and yeah.
What about this cluster and this column? You got that's kind of radical stuff you got going there.
The console?
Well, yeah, not your console, but your cluster.
Yeah, I've got the Dakota digital gauges that they make for Marquis Designs if you're running the 69 Camaro fiberglass dash. It's kind of like a race pack, but a little more, I don't know how to explain it. It's very race inspired, so I thought it was a good look for the truck.
Well, it kind of has that graphite style around it that looks really cool as well, and it matches because you've got your tilt lever and your turn lever kind of match that. You got AC. What aftermarket AC are you running?
Vintage Air.
There you go. All right, column. Who makes that column?
I did it. We run a Vintage Air, and I did it in every truck we build.
Yeah, you got this recipe down. There goes Lolo. Lolo! kick panels. Those are nice. You guys do there's a lot of work here.
Yeah, we got a few different designs of the kick panels, probably about 4 different designs. All on the
website. So where can these guys find it? Because you've got a glove box door, you've got some killer kick panels. There's a lot of cool B-roll here. Speaker panels. Well, and he's got this TMI seat that he's got going on, and he's got this little kind of fabricated cover piece as well. So a lot of little fab work that you guys have done, a lot of bead roll, and they can find it all at, again, say your website.
VanettaFabrication.com.
So that's VANNATTA. So Vanetta. But I know that's not how it sounds, but VANNATTA. Fabrication.com. And I mean, there's a lot of bead roll on this truck. Now, these wheels, what wheels are you running on this, Jason?
XXR 526s. They're more of a autocross drift wheel. Give the truck the look I was going for.
Have you autocrossed this? Is this something you are going to autocross, or is it just kind of you kind of gave it that look?
It's possible someday. If I was to pull the air suspension off, put sway bars on it, put some coil overs on it, then it'd be pretty good for autocross. I'm planning on building a 408 stroker for it. That would help a lot.
Yeah, that'd be some low-end torque. Now, I see you you shaved the drip rail as well.
Shaved the drip rail off. The top of the cab's been flattened, so a lot of the arches out of it. Gives it more of a sleeker design. Got the Fessler flush mount glass, front and rear.
Well, and you know what's unique about this is the way you brought the A-post, you left what would be considered kind of like a lip there, whereas some guys will take that out as well. It's almost like the old Advanced Designs. You know how they have that cool trucker, that shade canopy. You've got a little lip there, and it kind of gives it that mean look. What were you thinking there?
When you shave a drip rail, that's just how it is. To get the other look, which some of my friends have, you've got to cut the whole front of this lip out and basically fill it in with new metal, which, I mean, it looks good, but to me, something's a little off proportionally about it. So I like this look a lot with a little bit of the lip hanging over the windshield.
Okay, a little bit of lip. One other thing I noticed on this truck, he's got his doors, his gaps are just right. You've got some different mirrors and some different door handles. What can you tell us about the mirrors and the door handles?
My mirrors are off of 2016 Mustang GT. I shortened the post, made new mounts for them. They really add to the retro look of the truck. And the door handles are Ring Brothers first generation Camaro door handles that they basically fit about like the C10 door handles and work about the same. Takes a little bit of modification, not a lot, but they a lot smaller, sleeker look.
Isn't it funny how some of these GM things just all kind of interlink, you know, and then the cars and the trucks. Do you have a name for this truck?
Guinea Pig, because we do all of our testing on it.
Yeah, there you go, Guinea Pig. Well, I'm trying to talk him into bringing this thing out to Dino's and showing it off and setting up a booth there, because he's got a ton of, he's got a ton of work, a ton of guinea pigness going on with this truck, and it's definitely an eye catcher. Where are you going to next, Jason?
It might not be anywhere until LST in February. So supposed to meet street trucks out there for a shoot and just hang out with everybody and see what kind of changes happen over the winter. I'm always doing something to it.
Cool. Now, you say you're working on a few trucks at the shop. What do you got in store for us?
Right now, we've got in a 69 C10 that we've cloned into a 67 from Houston, Texas. It's almost done. It's a mint green color with a lot of chromes. It's more of a classy, old-school build. 6.0 in it, 4L80E, chop and block front and rear suspension, smooth frame, a few body mods, hand-built bed. Then we just got a 71 C10 short bed in from Louisiana with a 24 by 15 inch billets in the rear and 24 by 9.5s in the front. Also with a 6.0 in it. It's going to have a completely stock body, everything back to new, minus we're going to shave the antenna, and that's about it. We did a one-off engine bay in it, just something a little different, and it'll be done here in 4 months or so.
Okay. It sounds like I was talking to him and I told him, hey, what's your Instagram? And we kind of linked up on there, but he's getting his Instagram going. He is a Facebook guy, but you can check him out at Vanetta Fabrication. Again, VANNATTA Fabrication. I think it's just Fab, right? On Instagram. Did we look at that?
Vanetta Fab on
Okay.
Instagram.
Yep. So Vanetta Fab on Instagram, and we're gonna get him to post more pictures of this truck. Obviously, I'll take a few pictures of this truck and post them up as well. Jason, it's kind of cool when you meet somebody that you hadn't, in the C10 community. You're like, hey, how the hell did you not know about me, and how did I not know about you? So we kind of made that acquaintance today, and I got a feeling we're gonna be in touch a little bit more. So Jason, thanks for taking time to be on C10 Talk.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right. End of the day, C10's in the trailer park. Hey, we got no rain. I got the mayor of C10ville. I got Terry Hill, and I guess the first lady, if you will, Becky Hill, in the house. While we're hanging out, and I tell you what, there was some panic. These Texans, man, a little bit of panic about rain. I know we came in last night, and it was a little squashy, bringing the trucks in. But boy, no rain today. It worked out. So C10's in the park. I know we're always off because you count the first year with 40, but I mean, you killed it this year. So what do you think?
Man, 900 plus, man, it's crazy. Like you said, the weather yesterday, we had a decision to make by noon yesterday afternoon whether we were going to possibly change locations just for more stable ground. Came out here and, man, just said we're going to roll with it. And then right after we made that decision, the skies opened up for a little bit, and we're like, oh gosh. And then got up this morning about 4:45, literally walked outside, looked up, and I saw stars, and it was clear sky. So I said, all right, we got a good start anyway. So, and man, just got clouds just now. So it's been real great.
It was 6-pound, 10-ounce baby Jesus. He hooked up the C10 Nation and C10ville and made sure we had good weather because it was definitely one of those things. And, for us as a vendor, I just tell my wife, I'm like, there's really nothing we can do. Podcast, I can walk around. If only 10 people come to the show, then you guys are going to get those 10 people. That's what we do. But over 900 trucks, it was from end to end. I mean, it was all the way down, and I think that's, I'm going to say east, kind of eastern, and it was packed. And one thing, you guys seem to there's really no assignment. You just say, kind of let everybody in, and then they're going to park where they want to park. They're going to grab the Ramada. How do you guys, when you guys sit around and talk about that, is there any formula that you guys are kind of working on when it comes to where people are coming in?
Yeah. So this year, I mean, we had 750 last year, so we just bumped it up another 100, and then did a few promotional giveaways that we did and stuff like that. So we saw drone footage, saw that we had the room, and so we'll just bump it up another 100, 200 trucks and just see how it's doing. Logistically, we want to make sure this year that people can move around. I think that's what people like. They want to be able to, if they didn't hook up with their buddies in line, that maybe they could come in an hour later, hopefully, and hook up with them. Didn't work out for some, but for the most part, I think it did. So, no, it's real good. But I think we kind of saw where we want to be in that comfortable range, and then we'll just stick with that, man. I think we're solid. So
are you saying potentially a cap at maybe like 1,000 for next year? So next year, 5-year, technically, right? Technically the 5-year, because the first year was like 40, 65, kind of more of a gathering, but they count it, which is cool. So 50-year anniversary, C10's in the park, and I mean, maybe 1,000?
Yeah, maybe we might go 1,000. We're going to talk about it after this and just kind of see. I don't know. We obviously had some issues with traffic outside the park that had some some of the authorities come up and said, hey, what's going on, and want to know. So we just got to, we want to kind of control that a little bit better. So we'll go back to drawing board, see what's going on, and, maybe just keep it where it's at. I don't know. We'll see.
I hadn't really heard much. I heard a little bit, I guess, that it was, some issues with people coming into the park a few hours, after you guys open. You open at 8. There was people here probably as soon as 5:30, which seems crazy to me, but how else can we, I'd love to help you, however, but how else can you manage that?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I'll get, Ruben and Pedro and Hector and I will sit down and just try to talk about possible solutions. One of this is just a side street, having people use a side street that'll buy some time. But yeah, we just got to be careful. We had, TxDOT comes in here and they want to know what's going on, or DPS, and so. But man, we had Waxahachie's finest out here helping us, man, and I think they did a great job. They really said not one citation was issued, not one problem. So we're stoked about that. So that's good, and it's expected. This crowd, these guys are great. So
I'm in public safety, so I have a different perspective, and part of that is these people are all spending money, and they're spending a lot of money, and that money is in turn going to taxes and revenue and paying for, Waxahachie's in Texas finest and everybody. So I think it's like, hey, if you put up with us for a half hour, maybe an hour, guys aren't doing burnouts, they're not doing donuts. You just got to work with us, and once we get, the boys and the girls and everybody into the park, everybody's going to roll out separately different times. We're just trying to get everybody in the park. And I'm sure the mayor of C10ville, the mayor of Waxahachie, C10ville, and the trailers in the park. Where is your trailer in the park? Where is it? And the mayor will be working on that. So what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I say, I mean, I'm stoked, man. I want to thank all the guys that came out, man. You guys are great. Everybody that came out, and, you know, just thank the Lord for the great weather, man. And we're just blessed, man. Really are. Thankful.
You had brothers, Steve and Jim came out. We know that was a big thing of the Triple Crown. You know, number 2 stop on the Triple Crown started at Brothers Show this year. C10's in the park, stop number 2. Dino's Get Down number 3, and that's cool. You get you know you have a killer vendor set up here. As a vendor, I'm going to tell you that you do. You have a really respectful setup for the vendors. I mean, your row is nice. Where you decide to put us is nice, and you had brothers that came out, and I mean that's cool because they're your primary sponsor and they're part of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, well, you know, it's cool. Both those guys coming out here. And you know what? They didn't come out here just to kind of, you know, look and see how things are going. They came out here to help, and we're just, I mean, hands-on, and even their wives came out too. And, you know, and so, man, we had a great time. Look forward to spending, you know, at the party on Square with those guys and stuff, and kind of chat some more. But, man, just stoked to have them. And then the vendor layout, we kind of changed it up this year. Last year, kind of a dusting issue. And then we saw the rain, obviously. We said, well, we're not going to have that dusting issue this year. But we moved you guys back, Ronnie and stuff, and wanted kind of more friendly setup, you know, and hopefully get equal visibility for everybody, you know. We want to do that. And what's cool about our sponsors, we always look at, man, everybody out here is relevant to our scene. So we want to support those, like you say, support those that support us. And I think that's the cool thing. I really do. But everybody I talked to today, they're just stoked, you know. So
next up, we're going to head out to downtown Wax, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, we go out. We got Jason Cassidy will be there. C10's in the square, and I think American Racing's putting that on. I think, yeah. So American Racing's putting on Party at the Square, and that, to describe for the nation, is really small town kind of feeling. You know, last year I loved it. We went, took my wife, hang out, eat some food, listen to Jason do what he does, and that's a good time. And for me to convey that to you, the listener, it's pretty much as cool as the show. I mean, it's cool to see all the trucks, but now you go to Small Town USA and we get to hang out and listen to Jason Cassidy do his thing. It's a fun time.
Yeah, no, that's just a little perk to our show, our event, you know, is and that's something we want to do. We want to do something completely different. Man, but it also gives me the time. I get to go there and sit down, wind down, have a few drinks or something like that, and hang out with you guys and get have my time to chat and hang out and stuff. So, and then also to go down there with American Racing. So glad those guys stepped up this year and wanted to take that sponsorship on. And, man, I tell you that they picked all the trucks, it's none of us guys at C10's in the park that are doing that. So you're going to see some American Racing wheels out there. We know that, but also talking to Chris, he picked some trucks, that has other wheels. It's not about the wheels. He just picked some sweet trucks, and we'll come down here. Everybody, is coming to it and stuff, invited. But we're really, really happy about it and real stoked about the event. So.
Okay. Success. I mean, C10's in the park, number 4. It was an absolute hit. I know you had thought kind of capped at 850, and then with the C10 Triple Crown, you bumped it up. You had 900 trucks, 900 plus. 5th year. I mean, as of tomorrow, it's the 5th year, so get ready.
Already brainstorming, seriously. I've already started thinking some of the things we can change. So, like I said, we'll get with all the guys and hash it out and see what we think and make some changes and just grow. I mean, it's what's cool about this is, and again, man, I just can't thank everybody for coming out. And it's just freaking blew me away, man. It just did. So good deal.
Well, I want to thank everybody too, because Terry and I were talking off air that there's people out there that it's hard. We're all busy, but you look at the weather and you're like, well, it's easy to come up with something else. And when you think weather might not be in your favor, but what's cool is LST, we got rained on Sunday, but boy, we powered through, Saturday. We got a little bit. And honestly, out here today, I mean, it was a little muggy, but it was a great day. And you really had to think to yourself, this was about as good as it could have gotten.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, it couldn't have went any better for us. Just especially seeing what the forecast said. I mean, you saw, depending on who you watch, 80% chance today. right? I mean, that's what we saw up, we saw 30, 40s too, and then get nothing. So it worked out great. So.
And we saw like 3 o'clock, you and I joked, Becky was even joking, and we were talking, it's like, well, if we can get till 3, we can get till 4. And then at one point I was talking to somebody and they're like, well, it looks like it's 6 and 7 now. And we're like, all right, well, we'll cross that bridge in downtown later. So good job, brother.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for all you do for us, bud.
Anything, man. Peace out. Later.